Fish at 6, and to paraphrase old what's-his-name, we won't do it live. Mike Fisher, your trusty and trusted reporter, and here we go. We've wasted enough time trying to get Spectrum to get us up and running online. We'll just do it ourselves. We'll record it here, and I hope you enjoy it as best you can. Item by item by item, give me 20 minutes, and I will give you the Cowboys world, and I mean a lot of Cowboys world, as the temptation is for me to continue to try to get the internet to work in my house. We have a lovely garage. We have a fireplace. We have a cat. We have everything except internet. Item. This is the best Dak has ever been at camp. Now, that's what Stephen Jones says, Cowboys COO. It's what he's supposed to say. I'm not really arguing that it's untrue, having been to Oxnard all these years, as we have, and then recalling, if you will, how Dak, at least earlier in his career, was kind of historically we'll call him a gamer, meaning he was more of a game guy than he was a practice guy. It's not outrageous. And then remember, we got a couple, like last training camp, well, I mean, he wasn't a good Dak in last training camp, relatively speaking, because he was rehabbing. So I'll buy it. I'll buy it. The phrase that Dalton Schultz has used is horsepower. He said more horsepower is what Dak's got. And that, in Dak's explanation, is about being leaner and being stronger and being more fit and being healthier, more torque, and then more horsepower, more velocity on the ball. And Steven said the same thing. Here's the big point about Dak Prescott needing to be more healthy, more fit, more lean, more horsepower, more better. He's going to need to be. Dak is of the belief that this team's going to be better than last year's team. I'm not buying it, but if it's true, if it's destined to be true, because the roster isn't better right now, it's just not. Nobody can make the argument that the roster today is better than it was a year ago. So the only way, or the most likely way for the team to be as good or better than it was last year is for a handful of individuals to be better. Now, Dak Prescott last year, before we just said, well, then Dak's just going to be better. Let's remember again, 12-5. Division championship, playoff berth. $37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions for Dak. He was the runner-up NFL Comeback Player of the Year. He played like an MVP first half of the season until he hurt his calf in New England. So Dak's going to be better than that? Maybe, because he did do all those things statistically while he was still coming off the surgery, the gruesome ankle injury, and then the arduous ankle surgery. So that part's viable. I think it is, that Dak could be better than he was last year. And then again, he had his struggles in the second half of the year because of that calf. So Dak could be better than that. Some of the weaponry is different. Still got CeeDee Lamb atop the receiver group. Still have Ezekiel Elliott atop the running back room. Still have the reliable Schultz at tight end. Dalton Schultz quote from earlier in the summer. I catch his footballs every day, and the dude's got an uncanny amount of zip on the ball now. He'd been working his butt off all season. More horsepower. Sounds great. I'm not disparaging the idea at all. I'm simply saying that Dak, coming off the best training camp he's ever had, theoretically, now, for all these things to come true, needs to have the best season he's ever had, or the Cowboys aren't going to be good enough. Item. Kelvin Joseph's in trouble. Now, fortunately, it's not the kind of trouble that puts you in prison for being involved in a murder. This is just roster trouble. Go find my video from earlier today, Could Cowboys Cut Kelvin? And do the math with me. He is not, if I keep 9 defensive backs, he's not been one of the best 9. If I keep 10 defensive backs, Kelvin Joseph's not been one of the best 10. I could keep 13 defensive backs, and I don't think Kelvin Joseph's been one of the best 13. Can that change Saturday night at the Chargers? Of course it can. Can it change next week in practice? You bet. And the Cowboys hope it does. He's a cheap contract, 22-year-old, second-round pick. They valued him as a second-round pick. And to just throw that asset in the ash can, no organization wants to do that. They do not want to do that. We'll see what they do. And it restarts for Kelvin Joseph after a bad last Saturday in Denver. We'll try it again. 2 helmets? Yes. We told you about this kind of rumor earlier in the summer, and now it's true. The Cowboys will indeed have 2 alternate helmets, and they'll wear them both. The second one will be worn December 29th against the Titans, and it'll be Christmassy because the Cowboys are calling it Arctic Cowboys. And we'll go to cowboyssi.com. You can see the photo of the 2 alternate helmets. What's the point? Well, it's a tribute to history, and it's a way to sell more gear. Tom Brady is not going to really miss week 1 of the NFL regular season against the Dallas Cowboys. Is he? Here's the gossip that's going on there, and I'm going to explain to you why I buy it. So Tom Brady mysteriously says he's going away from camp for 10 or 14 days. Now listen, Tom Brady is an outlier. His situation's different from everybody else's. He's the best quarterback who ever played. He's got the 7. He's 45. He doesn't need to learn the playbook. He doesn't need to get knocked around and know the feeling of it. If there was a reason, a familial reason, an illness reason, to take off 10 to 14 days, completely justified. And honestly, if, as some people suspected early on, he just wanted to go home and just take a breather and be with his family, because he did retire in the offseason, or even if he just wants a mental health week, whatever, that's fine. But Todd Bowles, the coach, is saying, I know when he's coming back and I'm not concerned. Coming back after the Titans game. But he doesn't say when after the Titans game. Why not? So here comes a theory on Reddit that Tom Brady will not miss the Cowboys game 1, but he will miss a little more time because he's filming a TV show called The Masked Singer. Now, if you haven't seen this show, it's like funny in such a stupid way. It's so stupid. The Masked Singer celebrities, usually D-list celebrities, really do put on like a gigantic bumblebee head, and then they go sing a song, and then the panel is supposed to guess who's inside the bumblebee head. I have watched it twice. It's so dumb. I mean, really, it's so dumb, it's funny. One of the funniest things is this panel of experts makes these guesses, and they're trying to be serious guesses, and they'll say, I think inside that bumblebee head singing that song might be Barack Obama. You really think the President of the United States is going to put on a bumblebee head? Well, no, he's not. Why does this make sense for Tom Brady? Who's his semi-present and future employer? That'd be Fox, paying him $1 trillion to do nothing right now, and to do not very, and maybe once he retires, to not do very much either, as the #1 analyst at Fox. What network is The Masked Singer air on? Oh, Fox. Bingo. Item. Micah Loves Herbert. That was a 60s TV show, by the way. Micah Loves Herbert. And Herbert loves Micah. Now, I don't think they're going to clash very often Saturday night, but what a great, you can see this story at cowboyssi.com. The Mutual Admiration Society between these 2 young guys. Herbert, who, if they win enough games, is going to be recognized as a brilliant quarterbacking talent. and then his opposite number, Micah Parsons, as a pass rusher, as a guy who has had the green dot on his helmet, as a do-everything defensive guy, just like Herbert is capable of so much on offense. Again, Saturday night clash between Micah and Herbert, not exactly. If we didn't live in such a cynical Cowboy world right now, you know what we used to would have called this? Straight dope, no Bulshhh. We used to would have called this a possible Super Bowl preview, but I don't hear anybody saying that this time around. Boy, the goodies are good in the fish store. This is the latest stroke of genius. It's a combination of the work of Brie Amaranthus, yours truly, Broken Halo, and then Ezekiel Elliott approved it as well. And it's in the store. I wouldn't be surprised if Ezekiel Elliott is caught seen wearing one of these things when the Cowboys get back to Frisco. That's a beard scratcher. There's the fish store. There's the QR code. Go get you some via this award-winning program. Item. Roquan. Kill it. No. I don't care how many credible reporters say it, Albert Breer. I don't care how many farcical con men say it, Skip Bayless. There is not, at this time, a Cowboy connection with Roquan Smith. There is not. Now, you notice I give myself a little fudge room. I mean, could it change next month? It's not good enough, but could it? I guess. Could somebody bumble? Could TMZ bump into Jerry Jones in Hollywood again, down on Sunset Boulevard, and get Jerry say, Jerry, what do you think of Roquan Smith? And Jerry say, Mr. TMZ, Roquan Smith, just between us girls, he's a heck of a ball player. Okay, fine. Then I guess we would write that the Cowboys think that Roquan Smith is a heck of a ball player. But no. Also kill it, Antonio Brown. And we did this before Jerry said, Mr. TMZ, we're good. They're not good enough at wide receiver. But this they do not need. A guy in his mid-30s who is obviously, if I was part of Antonio Brown's circle, friend, or family, I would be deeply concerned about his state. How about that? Item. I haven't talked about Akib Talib yet. And we're going to spend a minute on this. He, of course, went to high school in the Dallas area, lives here, has a business here, lives here, works here, family ties here. So Akib, who now is 36 and a 12-year NFL player, very, very good defensive back in the NFL. And his 39-year-old brother, they're in, I think whether they're in Lancaster or Lancaster, as people like to call it. I think that's right. And there's a youth football game. And Akib, and there's video of this now, Akib doesn't like the way the referee's calling the game. So 36-year-old man, former NFL player, who has a job as an Amazon TV analyst now. He is or was. He is going to be or was a national TV analyst, sitting in the kind of chair that Troy Aikman or Mike Tirico or Joe Buck or Michael Strahan. It's a big chair. And Akib Talib decides to get out of that big chair and run across the field to, at first, verbally assault everybody over there. Then it becomes physical. The initial report was that Akib was nearby when his brother allegedly shot the opposing coach. Oh, he was nearby, all right, because now there's video that shows Akib Talib's the one who started the fight. 39-year-old, 36-year-old. Youth football game. Professional athlete, high profile, community leader in many regards. Now, Now it's time to tell the rest of the story. If you are a Dallas person, if you're involved in football in Dallas, if you're involved in law enforcement in Dallas, and I guess now if you're involved in youth sports in Dallas, you know the Talib brothers. This isn't their first rodeo with gun violence. And I don't say this to pick on the brothers, Akib Talib, the Talib brothers. I'm not trying to pick on them, although since somebody got murdered, maybe they should be picked on a bit. The coach on the other team is a grandfather who got murdered. The family has a history of gun involvement. The incidents are more than a few. Somebody told me a while back, and this kind of got brushed under the rug, that Akib Talib, not too long ago, stumbled into a hospital having been shot. I don't think any charges were filed. I don't think the police ever found anything. I just think we kind of, taped him up and moved along. That's not the only one. In 2011, he was arrested in a shooting in Garland. Now, this is 11 years ago. He's a player. He's an NFL player. In this case, this according to the police report, Akib Talib allegedly attempted to pistol whip his sister's boyfriend, and then after a struggle, used his mother's pistol and fired several shots at the boyfriend as the boyfriend ran away on foot. Akib Talib was eventually acquitted because Billings, the boyfriend, the state's main witness in the case, went to prison on an unrelated child molestation charge, allegedly. Are you following this? I'm mad at my sister's boyfriend. I pistol whip him. I grab another pistol and shoot him, or shoot at him. And when the system of jurisprudence is getting ready to come down on me, the witness goes away because the witness, who's the victim, is guilty of child molestation. This ain't the Talib family's first rodeo. And it just reminds me once again, and somebody put in the comments the other day, Fish, you lecture too much. I know. And when you get to be my age, you know what? And you're your age, you're going to lecture too much. It's a youth football game. I will tell you, when I first started coaching kids, and I was 18, and they were 8, and it was the greatest program ever in Greeley, Colorado. There was no teams. Kids just 20 kids would show up at 8, 20 more would show up at 9, 20 more would show up at 10, 20 more would show up at 11. So it's a 5-hour morning of work for the coaches. 20 kids would show up, different kids, okay? No teams, just 20 kids. It was basically baseball clinic. And we did it weekday mornings. And guess why we did it weekday mornings? Because Dad couldn't show up. Dad couldn't bring a gun because he couldn't show up. Dad couldn't throw a punch. He couldn't show up. He had to work. Brilliant. If you feel like you need to bring a gun to the youth football game, you probably shouldn't go to the youth football game. We've got a big Saturday planned for you. CowboysSI.com is all over everything right now, and then all day Saturday. Our coverage is wall-to-wall ball. We will do a live broadcast. I take it back. Spectrum may not allow us to do a live broadcast. We will do a broadcast of some sort. Maybe we'll go to the neighbor's house. Maybe we'll go to the Star. Maybe I need to fly to the Chargers game to SoFi. How's their internet? But we will get you covered one way or the other. Thank you for hanging out with what we do here. Marcia, you're free to come in. It's your house. Especially if you can fix the internet. There's the fish store with the QR code. Go and get you some. Marcia, would you like to give us an update on the Spectrum?
There's a lot of people still on here if you want to try again.
Think I should, okay, just for the hell of it, this will live in infamy. Now I'm going to bounce back and go see if I can see other people like you. Love you. Fish out.